Jason Lloyd from The Athletic. Okay, so Cleveland seemingly has figured this thing out, right? 6 in a row. What's been the difference between early in the season and now?
They're trying defensively. That certainly helps. When you give effort. Well, I mean, honestly, that's really it. You know, you can talk schemes, and they have been better. I think their pick and roll coverages have been a little bit better. They're contesting better at the three-point line and kind of doing a better job of getting to the line. But it all goes back to effort, really. You know, there were points early in the season where, you know, I'll start with LeBron, where there was a game at New Orleans early in the season where LeBron didn't even make it across the half-court line during in a couple of transition fast break times for the Pelicans. And it starts with your leader. And I know, you know, Ty has said for 2 years now that they don't want to ask LeBron to do too much on the defensive end because of everything that he has to give them on the offensive end. But when your best player is standing there with his hands on his hips on some possessions, that's going to trickle down. And to LeBron's credit, he's been better. At least I think he's been better defensively during this streak where he's been giving more effort, and it's trickled down from there.
If the biggest difference is attitude, then how long can they keep this streak alive?
Well, you would hope. You know, if you're talking winning streak, it's impossible to say, but you would hope that they could continue to play at a high level and compete night in and night out, regardless of the opponent. But that's been the problem with this team for a while now, is they tend to play to the level of competition more than any team that I've ever seen before. You know, when you lose some of the games that they've lost this year, it's inexcusable. But, you know, yet they get up for the teams that they – you know, are playoff contending type teams. They get up for them and they play well and they win. So you would hope that they're through the malaise. This team's going to hit some rough times. I mean, they've got a stretch coming up after New Year's up until from January 1st until the trade deadline, where it's kind of brutal, where you know, they've got a couple of dates with the Warriors in there. If you go back to Christmas, they got Golden State on Christmas, and then Martin Luther King Day. The Spurs are in there. So they've got some teams where they're going to be challenged. You know, it's by no means that this is smooth sailing from here on out. You know, they kind of whittled away their opportunities against some of the weaker opponents. The teeth of their schedule still lies ahead.
Dwayne Wade, J.R. Smith going back and forth in the starting lineup. Now it seems like Wade has settled in coming off the bench. How big has that been for Cleveland? How is he settling in?
Huge. And, you know, I was talking to Dwayne about that the other day, and he was saying, you know, I'm a rhythm player, and if I'm just running up and down the floor for 26 minutes a night and standing in the corner, I'm not going to do myself or anyone else a whole lot of good. So that's why he wanted to make this move, go to the second unit. He's got the ball in his hands again. You know, he's used to being a primary option, or at worst a number 2 option. When he was in that starting lineup, he was really a number 3 option. And when Isaiah comes back, you could argue that he would be the 4th option in that starting unit. So it's really a good move for him. It solidifies the bench. They've been hurting for a point guard for a while now. By at least putting the ball in his hands and giving someone that can bring stability to that second unit, can calm them down at times, and can run the offense. It's really been a good fit for them on both sides.
Yeah, you mentioned that point guard position. Today it comes out that Derrick Rose is questioning whether or not he still wants to play in the NBA. What do you know about that?
You know, it's funny. I was talking to Derrick probably 3 weeks ago now. It was 2-3 weeks ago, where he talked about all the changes that he made in his offseason program over the summer, and he felt like he was in the best shape that he'd been in since his MVP season coming into the season. And I know it's the cliche, as guys say, I'm in great shape all the time, but Derrick really meant it, because he changed up who he worked out with over the summer. He changed up his regiment and who was in charge of it. And he really felt great, and he was really frustrated to be pulled out of midair. Second game of the season against Milwaukee, it was a flagrant foul, and it's really kind of derailed his season from there. And you can understand, certainly, given everything that he's been through with the knee problems over the years. And he kept telling me, you know, I don't have any problems with my ankles. This is the first one, but it's just not healing the way that they wanted it to. Certainly, I think we could say now that he rushed back to it. He said he wanted to try and keep his wind up. He wanted to try and keep the conditioning that he was in. So he missed only a handful of games, and he came back too soon. And now I think, you know, it's only natural, given everything he's been through, it's only natural for him to kind of reconsider, is this all worth it? When you consider the money that he's made in his career, the fact he's on a league minimum deal this year, you know, I don't know what his role is going to be on this team if and when Isaiah's back and Dwayne's running the second unit. You know, Derrick's kind of the odd man out. So it's a lot for him to consider. Ty Lue said tonight he does expect to have him back, but there is no time frame on it. I think that's what you expect him to say in that situation. Right now, it's really up to Derrick if he still has the passion to play or not.
Very complicated situation. Jason Lloyd, thank you for helping us to figure it out from The Athletic. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys.